What's going on, YouTube? It's the Bushy Beard, and I'm back, and I'm bushier than ever. And right now, I am going to share the story of Archie Williams. He was the guy on America's Got Talent that sang, the wrongfully convicted one that I did a reaction to. As much as I enjoyed the reaction and his singing, because it was absolutely amazing, I want to get his story out there. I think that's the most important part of it. His talent is one thing, and he's a great talent, but also knowing more about the story so we can move forward as a society to try to change the justice system as a whole. We gotta understand what the problem is, and so we're gonna do one that the Innocence Project, which is when you hear just Innocence Project, that's always gonna be the one from New York. All the other ones are going to be like Innocence Project of Florida, Montana, or there's going to be of something usually, because they're not connected. All the Innocence Projects are individual entities, and they're kind of under the umbrella of Innocence work, but they're not connected as a business model. And so that would be one thing. But I feel like with him being on the show, now is a great time to get the conversation started about the Innocence Project and what they do, all of them and what they do, and the reforms and stuff like that, but also to get the stories told. And so I'm going to do his, but I'm also going to do one that my project has worked on a little bit and helped, is two men from Jacksonville who were freed after 42 years in prison, almost 43. I think right now they're currently, it's not a record that people would want to have, but they were spent the most time wrongfully convicted in prison. And so this happened just last year, and I think it's important to get people's stories out there so we can understand the problems and move on as a society and try to fix things. So here we go. We got the Innocence Project, Archie Williams. We're going to learn about him. So I'm excited. I hope y'all are too. Innocence Project has helped more than 200 wrongfully convicted people secure their freedom. That's really cool. That's awesome. They really brought it, and they're doing a lot of good work. And it's not only getting innocent people out of prison, it's reform and things like that. That's what they also work on. So prison reform, justice reform, police tactic reform, like double blind police lineups where the cops who are administering the in-person lineups or photo lineups don't know who the suspect is, so they can't unconsciously try to sway somebody towards them. Just different things like that.
Freedom is of the mind. It's all about how we view life. I never let my mind go to prison. My body was put in this prison on this slave plantation. I've always had the peace to be able to go through this ordeal. Thank God for that.
Yes.
Given the circumstances in which
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more than just Archie Williams, which is fine. Again, hearing all the stories is great.
Incarceration happened, freedom means to me the ability to hold my head up with my dignity intact.
I believe he was one also that our project helped work on. I think. I'm not 100% sure. I know I've met him in real life.
That right there.
Really good guy. Really, really good guy.
Feel. Don't answer to no one. Do as you want to, as you feel is best for you.
Freedom means that I'm free to serve God within the parameters that He has provided for me.
Amen, brother, amen.
And that always will bring the best results.
It kind of opens the floodgates, you know, when you continue to encounter it, so to speak. Life is good. Baby, wife.
Nice.
I'm doing good.
And it's so good to to see after they get out how much grace they have for people and the system in general. And yeah, they're mad. Yeah, I mean, everybody, I think anybody who went to prison for something they didn't do would be mad, but they have so much grace. And you know, I don't know how much grace I would have. It's really a testament to them, to the people who serve for somebody else, unfortunately. But it's a testament that they're able to come out and not be consumed by anger and want to get back at people, but understand, maybe not even understand, but just accept that it happened and now you're getting another shot at life. I don't know if I could be not consumed with anger at that point, you know? Being locked away for 14 to 40 years, not knowing if you're ever going to get out, like, come on. I would be angry.
I haven't dreamed in such a long time. That's a difficult question. My vision is just to help as many people as I can before I die.
My race of people, the kids, that's, you know, our future, making sure that they can be productive in life. I want to be access to that as much as I can possibly be.
And they give back so much. Coming out of prison, everybody, their mission is to help the next generation as much as possible, to try to get as much reform done as possible. And it's amazing. I don't think I'll ever understand that kind of grace.
I want a family, you know, marry one day, have kids. I want a bunch of them. I don't know, I guess I'm too old to have so many now, but I dream to have a normal life, you know, that's all. Just be happy with everything that come along with bills, taxes, all of that, struggles. Yeah.
I'm one of the fortunate ones that actually got an opportunity to prove that I wasn't responsible for the crime I was in prison for, but there are thousands, literally tens of thousands more people in this country that are wrongfully imprisoned whose voices are being silenced.
When you are served papers, they have lot versus the state of Oklahoma. And that's what it really means. It's not a misprint.
That's hard to think. It's when it says the state of something, that it's literally the whole state against you. Man.
You, by yourself, against the entire state. All the state's resources, all the state's men will try their best to make you fall off that wall, just like Humpty Dumpty. And no one can put you together again. But the Innocence Project has a solution for that, to combat that beast that we call the state.
Can you imagine?
And as much as the Innocence Project does, I think the Humpty Dumpty analogy is perfect, because spending a day in prison for something you didn't do, it's hard to say that you're going to come out and be whole again. I think you can live a relatively normal life, but the things that happen in prison will scar anybody, and it's amazing.
Imagine 19 years on the inside, then you come out and these people embrace you and they treat you like you're human. I fought hard for myself because I was fighting for me. But to have somebody come alongside you and believe what you say and to act on it, that's a whole nother monster.
It represented people, a mindset that were just committed to fighting and helping me restore truth and restore justice. Innocence Project, it means everything to me.
And yeah, they do amazing work. All of them do, and it's hard work because you don't win them all, and that's an unfortunate truth. Is There are innocent people who are never going to get out of prison, and it's a tough pill to swallow. But you got to keep fighting. No matter what you do, you got to keep fighting. Try to find a way to make it, to get them out. You got to find a way. And so this one is about the two from Jacksonville who served almost 43 years in prison. Together, they both served almost 43, not aggregated.
From the local station, the 10 o'clock news starts now.
42 years of fear, frustration, despair for these two men imprisoned for a crime they didn't commit. They are now free to face a whole new world.
If I remember, their uncle and nephew.
A very different one from the world they left in 1976.
Can you believe, could you imagine coming out of a prison that you've been in for 40 years to see how much the world has changed? I mean, you kind of get a sense of it in prison, but there's nothing that can compare to being in the real world. It's got to be overwhelming.
A different one from the world they left in 1976.
Computers.
It's nerve-wracking right now, really. I'm nervous, because I feel like I'm still locked up.
My mother, she died while I was on death row, and I just wanted to get out and be with my...
This emotional day ending with smiles and praise for those who helped free Clifford Williams Jr. and Nathan Myers.
Clifford Williams Jr. and his nephew, Hubert Myers, have maintained their innocence since they were charged in May of 1976. Both men were convicted of the murder of Jeanette Williams and the shooting of her roommate, Nina Marshall.
Yeah, News4JAX reporter Corley Peel is joining us live outside the state attorney's office. Corley, everybody wants to know how the state proved that the two men were innocent and what they think about their new
What was different about this one is there was a conviction review unit, and what that is an office within the public or the state attorney's, the prosecutor's office, that reviews different convictions. What they do is inmates will send a request and they'll look over their case. And so the state attorneys the CRU played a huge role in this, and the Innocence Project also helped.
Freedom.
The men say that there was times that they lost faith, but they never gave up hope. And after taking on the case, the state attorney's conviction integrity unit found there wasn't sufficient evidence to prove that the two men were guilty.
Praise the Lord.
That's a huge burden, because after 40 some odd years,
Nathan Myers kisses the ground after taking his first steps into freedom alongside his uncle, Clifford Williams Jr. Williams was 34 when convicted. He's now 76. Myers was 18. He's now 64. This is an opportunity both men didn't think would happen after serving 42 years in prison for a murder in 1976.
My mother, she died while I was on death row, and I just wanted to get out and be with my sick kids. They was gone, and it wasn't nobody but them.
I wrote all the Innocence Project. I wrote lawyers. They wouldn't listen. They told me my case was too old. They didn't have the evidence to free us.
State Attorney Melissa Nelson says Myers wrote the state attorney's office conviction integrity unit in 2017 in hopes they'd take his case.
His letter sat for a year because at that time, the conviction integrity unit was still just an idea. A year later, when the unit became operational, Mr. Myers' letter was one of almost 100 petitions awaiting the newly hired conviction integrity review director.
I think the CIUs and CRUs, their different names are the same thing, are a great thing to have, and it's a step in the right direction. We just need to see results and continue to see results. I don't think they're going to overtake, what the Innocence Project does, but they're going to help, and hopefully they can coexist and help each other.
Shelley Thibodeau.
With the help from the Innocence Project, the team reevaluated the shooting that killed Jeanette Williams and injured Nina Marshall after they were ambushed at their apartment in 1976. Nina Marshall identified Myers and Williams as the shooters. State Attorney Melissa Nelson says both men were at a party at the time gunshots rang out. The unit spoke with witnesses, re-examined evidence, and recreated a virtual computer model of the actual crime scene to determine how the shooting occurred. The new evidence led to the judge granting Myers and Williams be set free.
Mr. Williams and Mr. Myers, the indictments have been dismissed against you. You are free to go.
Thank the Lord, Savior Jesus Christ. You know, it's nerve-wracking right now, really. I'm nervous, you know, because I feel like I'm still locked up. Once I get my family and knowing I can look back and I don't have no officers around me to tell me what to do and how to do it, and then reality hit in, I think I'll be all right.
Myers says he's not bitter about what happened, but is grateful he can live the rest of his life as a free man.
Again, I don't understand how people can come out of prison after being locked up for something they didn't do and not be bitter. I know I would be, to the death.
Myers says the first thing he's going to do now is reunite with his family. Since launching the Conviction Integrity Unit, the state attorney says they've received 200 requests for review. Reporting live from downtown, Corley Peel, Channel 4, the local station.
That's fantastic. I hope y'all enjoyed these stories as much as I do, because it inspires me to work harder and to work better in order to help these people. There are too many people locked up for things that they didn't do, and it's a shame. So hopefully we can get to a point where the Innocence Project is no longer needed and we don't have innocent people in prison, but don't know if that's ever going to happen, unfortunately. But we're working for it. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you disliked it, go ahead and give it a dislike. Not going to hurt me any, or you could just go ahead and give it a like anyways, because it won't hurt you. If you like these kind of things, I do them from time to time. Try to highlight what the Innocence Projects do and things like that. So you could give me a subscribe if you wanted to, and check out my other videos. I've done a couple of them. Or if you just like me and you want to see me react to other things, just click the subscribe, or you can just come in and drop in from time to time. Either way, I'll consider you a friend, but one way you'll be part of the bearded brother, or the bearded fam. So anyways, until next time, YouTube, smile like you mean it from the Bushy Beard.